Hey everybody, and welcome back to another lecture with Coding with Roby. In this lecture, we're going to get a JWT from successfully logging in a user and then passing that JWT within the authentication bearer header, and that'll need to be authenticated before we can successfully return to-dos now based on the user ID. This is awesome stuff, so let's dive in. The first thing we need to do is to go into our to-do app folder and directory. From here, let's start up our authentication server. So we can do this by typing in unicorn auth :app -- reload. But this time, at the end of the command, let's say -- port 9000. This will change our port to 9000 for authentication, so we can run our main.py file at the port of 8000. Now from here, let's jump into our Swagger documentation, and let's change our port to 9000 and press enter. This will open up our authentication APIs. I'm going to say post so we can log in for access token. And I'm going to say try it out and sign in with my Coding with Roby and test1234 password. And once I click execute, we'll get a JSON token back. I'm going to hold off on that for 1 second. And remember, these are only valid for 20 minutes, so I'm going to keep the server running. Let's go back into our code, and let's make some enhancements to our main.py file. First, we're going to have to import some things from our auth.py file. We'll have to import our getCurrentUser and our getUserException. So from auth, import getCurrentUser, getUserException. And now let's scroll down. I'm going to leave our read all alone just for testing purposes so we can see all of our to-dos. And right under our app.get, let's create a new function called app.get to-dos by the user. We're going to create this function called read all by user. We can do this by saying async def read all by user, and as the parameters we're going to pass in user as type dictionary, which equals depends of get current user, and db of type session, which equals depends get db. Now that we have our user, we need to check to see if the user is none. So if user is none, raise getUserException. If not, return db.query models.todos. And filter by the models.todos.ownerID, which equals user's ID dot all. All right, let's try this application out. Let's open up our terminal, and let's open up another session, and let's cd into our to-do app. And now let's type in unicorn main :app -- reload. This will be on port 8000. Let's now open up our Postman session, and we know it's a get, and we're going to say /todos/user, If we go ahead and say send, we're going to get a not authenticated error. Let's now jump back to our Swagger documentation, grab this token, go back to Postman, now let's switch over to authorization, drop down to bearer token, and let's paste in our token, and now click send. We get a status 200, and we only get 2 to-dos, both to-dos that owner ID matches the primary key of the user. So we just signed in, got a JSON web token, passed the JSON web token as the authorization bearer token, validated the token, and then returned the to-dos that belong to the user. Super cool stuff. This wraps up this lecture, and I will see you in the next video.